All right, guys, I want to make this clear. This show wasn't trash. No, it wasn't. Certain things felt like they were still forced. Yeah. But other stuff, which were some accidents that happened during some of the matches, like, damn, what the fuck? And then we got a match that was so fucking sloppy. I'm like, what the blue fuck was that? Other parts were good. Some things made you question. And a few more was like, I don't buy it. But does not mean it was all bad. But I'm making it very clear. That is what we got. I think a mixed bag is what we got here. It's not a bad show, but it's a mixed bag. And there's some things that look really bad, like someone might have gotten actually hurt. One match that looks so damn sloppy in many spots, you're going like, what the fuck? And then there's certain questions like, where are we going here? Or I don't buy that. Okay, let's look at the kickoff. Now, I did watch the kickoff. I did. And let's make this very clear. The opening with Mr. Sheriff Stone was okay. It leads to the match that's later that I have a problem with. But the first match on the card, which was the kickoff, Rosemary versus Xia Brookside. There was no stipulation. There was no special match. Nothing. It was just a straight match. And let's make this very clear. If it had been a stipulation match, I think it would have been better for Xia Brookside. Because when you look at what they were going to do, and you see Rosemary at first wants to do what she could to really screw over Xia Brookside or pull the hatred out of her, like getting a staple gun. And then, or stapler. And then getting a belt, which didn't work either because the ref stopped her. I'm going to tell you this. Did I buy Xia Brookside losing her cool and going nuts? Let me give you like this. Seeing a wailing on Rosemary, I'm not surprised. Seeing a wailing on a couple of the security officers, I think it was 3 or 4 of them, that did help. But did, after it was over, her screaming her head off, trying to pose like this, screaming her head off, and then when they showed the little snippet in the back saying pretty much, you wanted to see me break, you wanted to see me break. You know what she looked like? Here's the thing. As I told you guys many times before, when you're doing a script, you got to make it feel real. Give it an emotion. Give it substance. Xia looked like a small little child that was having a tantrum. And understand, it's not because she looks young. It was the way she delivered it. I did not buy any of it. None of it. Not because I hate Xia or that I think she's total trash. No. I felt that the way she was delivering the script that she had to do, that promo she had to do, legitimately did not hit. She came off like a spoiled little brat having a tantrum. And that was the problem. Only briefly, for about maybe 5 seconds near the end of it, did it look okayish. Everything else didn't. And this is one of the problems that TNA has, that they do not build their women correctly. This has always been a major problem with TNA. They don't always give them time to really build themselves up. They don't give them a lot of promo time. Worse yet, they don't give them women to work against. This is one of the problems Xia has. She's worked with the Ashes. Yeah. She's worked with Rosemary. Yeah. But it's not enough. A lot of times you need practice when you do promos. Now, I know maybe she's done it on Explosion, but not everyone watched Explosion. I definitely don't watch Explosion. I got all the other shows to look at. I definitely don't have time for Explosion. But even with that, you felt emotion from Rosemary. Of course you did. You felt it. not just because she's got more time on air because of the years, it's because she made that emotion feel real. And Zaya did not. So now they're going to have to find a way to compensate for this, because they're going to have to either make Zaya have new music, make Zaya have new clothes, or Zaya herself is going to have to look at how she performed, and she's going to have to go back to the drawing board and see what she needs to add in. Not just facial expressions, it was the way she sounded. It was the way she carried herself. That's one of the things you use when you're trying to give an emotion. It wasn't that the match was bad. And it wasn't bad about the beatings with the strap. But it was the promo itself to make me believe that she's broken now. Because she don't look broken. She looks like a spoiled little brat that just threw a tantrum. That's the truth. Moving on. First match on the card. Santana supposedly versus AJ Francis. But doesn't happen because supposedly AJ didn't want to get in the ring. He's walking out with a crutch. And you think, okay, so they're going to bring someone in. So if there's someone new in TNA, this is a great time. We'll actually be able to see somebody new, and I'll be interested in seeing them. No. Once again, Casey Navarro has not just one match. In the last he had 3 matches against Santana now. 3. And I'm like, is it 3? I say about 3 now. And he had to face him again, and it was a good match. They both have good chemistry together. And of course, Santana whooped that ass. And then what did we get? A little bit of character development. Something I'm glad to see for a Casey Navarro. Let's put this in perspective. Santana's character is good. AJ Francis' character isn't always great, but it is developed. Casey Navarro has no character. He's just a sidekick to AJ Francis. They just gave him finally something to begin to work with. Hopefully. Because after the match is over, you got Santana shaking his hand, lifting him up, shaking his hand. Of course, he gets nailed in the back with the crutch. And you can see Casey is conflicted. Because he just got respected by a tag team champion. Multiple-time tag team champion. You can say a lot about Santana, but he is a multiple-time champion in TNA. And I think they did get at least one. Did they get a title in AEW? Him and Ortiz, I think once or twice. I think once. I can't remember. It's been so long. But you see him going, dude, he just gave me respect and now we pounding him? Do you serious? We got to do this? That's the look he gave. And that's a question of how they're going to develop Casey Navarro's character now. Not that he has to turn heel, but at least give us something to see if he can carry a character. Because let's make it very clear. Casey Navarro is slick as fuck. He knows how to talk. He's got charisma. He does. But we've not seen him do a character. So this might be the first real chance for him to finally get a character. And as I've said before, ring work means jack shit. If you don't have something to people to remember you more than your ring work, you're going to be lost in the sauce. And now, Casey Navarro is finally given an opportunity to start showing that he can put over a character. Don't know how far they're going to go with it, but it's not about that. It's about, can he make it work more than them giving it legs, giving it time to progress. Next match. The match that became 2 matches. First match, Cody Deaner versus Eddie Edwards. If Cody wins, he could get himself a possible extension on his contract. If he loses, he's done. Now, since this was done in Brixton, he's not from Brixton, but it is Canada. He is from Canada. And he has the hometown advantage because he is from Canada. And you got to say this honestly. A lot of this had a lot of Canadian ties easily. And I'm fine with that. And I want to make this clear. You need to make sure you got a good amount of matches that covers where you're at. and with people in it. And I have to say it was pretty good for the most part. And we get the match. And for the most part, the crowd was behind Cody. Yes, they were. But, of course, Alicia interfered. Eddie was cheating. He tried to use the ring, which didn't work. There was more than a few kickouts, which I'm not always fond of. Let's make it very clear. You want to tell a story, you don't have to do multiple kickouts to tell the story. It's about psychology. It's about the attitude that people give while they're doing the match, not just while they're kicking out. And in this situation, it was all right. But Cody did lose. But here's the thing that I'm like, really? You don't give him this moment. You don't. And I'm going, what the fuck? Because what did we get? We get the system coming out belittling him. I would have thought that since it's supposed to be his last match, period, he's done with TNA, you would think you would give him this moment to allow the crowd to say thank you. And that he has this moment to be special. No. We get the system coming out belittling him. And then we get the normal... You see what I'm botching here? Because once you see... I always thought it was Saints. It's Williams. Williams and Icarus comes out with Eric Young. Wearing ponchos of the Northern Armory insignia. And they said, what, you think you're going to get away with what you just did? Insulting our people? Insulting one of our own? This is my country. I was born here. We were born here. We don't take that shit. We're going to make you pay a price. And then we get a match where Cody is gone. He's still not there. Cody's not there. As quickly as he was there, as quickly he was gone. And that moment that Cody should have gotten saying, thank you, Cody, they didn't even bother to give it to him. And I'm like, what the fuck? But then we get this match where the first match, a Canadian loss. But then in this match where Moose gets pinned. And we get it by Eric Young, which is alright because now that's a possible X Division title opportunity. We get the Honey Badger, who is the mascot of Bristol, for the Bristol, I think, hockey team, sorry. And we get them there. I'm like, this felt like it was forced. Guys, tell me below, what would you rather see? Not saying the match was bad when it came to the 6-man tag. I'm not saying that. What would you think would have been a good thing? Seeing this match without Cody or Eddie, or not seeing this second match and giving Cody Deaner his moment. And I want to know your thoughts. Please don't tell me this was awesome. I want to know your thoughts on what they just did to Cody Deaner. Because legitimately, and I'm going to question you on this, if you say this show was awesome, what about what happened with Cody? Anyone else in AEW? Hell, WWE, even TNA years ago, when they used to be Impact, if you were leaving a company, they would give you that moment. If it was a stipulation where you're going to lose your job and you were a face, a good guy, if you lost, they would at least give you a moment to really get the fans behind you and say thank you. And then you walk away. Tell me, was that right? I don't think so. But this is me. Next. The Knockouts. No DQ, no countout tag title. Spitfire versus the Ashes. Let me make this very, very, very clear. I had a feeling that they were going to finally break them up. Particularly now we just found out 2 new women are coming in. I can't remember the names of the women right now. I don't remember who they are. So don't ask me. I do not remember them. Since I've not seen them on Explosion, because I don't watch Explosion, I don't know who they are yet. So I don't remember the names. Do they look pretty? Yeah. I don't know if they work. I don't know if I've ever seen them before. Probably I might have seen them, but I just don't remember them. We got 2 new women coming in. Fine. So I had a feeling when they said on this Impact, let's do this again. Let's wind it back. If we lose, we break up. I had a feeling this was going to be legitimate. I kind of wish they had given at least another week or so beforehand to let it sink in. They could have had an interview. I think an interview might have really helped to show how important this was. Doesn't matter if Jody Threat is actually leaving the company or Danny Luna is leaving the company or either one of them or they're still staying. I still believe they deserved an interview to question if this is going to be something they both want. Let me give you like this. That match was not bad. But let's make it very clear what we saw with the Ashes when Maggie Lee showed up. Fine. But when it came to Danny Luna, when she was going to be basically power bombed, or at least an Alabama slam through a table on the ground, she did not go through the table. She literally, oh my gosh. I don't think I'm putting any images in this video because I want to upload it immediately. But if I do have an image, if I'm considering it, maybe I might put one image. This might be the only one. I don't think I will. But guys, I do believe it was, Ash. Ash was supposed to either do a power bomb, throw her into the table, or not. She did not throw her far enough. And she landed in between where the table was, where the ring skirt, here's the table, here's the ring skirt. She landed here instead of here, and her head and neck landed on the edge of the fucking table. You thought what happened in the pre-recording for Impact on Thursday when Tessa Blanchard didn't go through the damn table and she was slammed in and it refused to break? And that happened twice? This one was worse. Worse. And then, to try and compensate for it because Ash couldn't make her fall through the table and break, she picked her up, put her on the table, but then didn't bother to turn her over onto her back. And Ash jumped on top of her, and literally the table split in half. You see the whiplash going back for Danny Luna's neck and head when the table broke. And I'm going, what the fuck just happened? They don't normally do that. You do not have your opponent face down on the table like this. You have them face up so they can brace themselves. And Ash did not do that. Or Danny might have been too concussed or injured to turn herself over, and Ash still did the move anyway. Oh my sweet fuck. I don't know if Danny's alright. I'm hoping she's fine. I'm praying to the Great Spirit that that girl is fine. Because it was bad enough that Ash could not, I'm not saying that she did it on purpose. I'm making this clear. She did not do it on purpose. I know she didn't. Hang on. Sorry, my battery was literally flickering. It was about to go out. I didn't want to be caught in mid-sentence. But let's make this very clear. Ash did not purposely try to hurt Danny. I'm telling you right now, she did not. That is not something you normally do. Okay? It was obvious that was a botch. She tried to throw her onto the table the first time, and she did not do it far enough. And that is when Danny got her neck clipped here. Like I said, if I got an image of it, it would have already been in my face, or it's in my face now, where you can see her neck hit the table. But I was very surprised that when you looked at Ash jumping on her, and she didn't try to turn her over. That is dangerous. You can't brace yourself properly that way because your back doesn't bend like that very easily. You think people's backs can bend like that? They're not contortionists. They cannot bend themselves like my elbow like this. The back doesn't bend that way in that direction. So I'm not saying either that she did that on purpose, but something went wrong that happened. and it shouldn't have happened. That was a major mistake on Ash's part. She should have tried to turn her over after she picked her up and then do the move. I'm not telling you that was what she purposely wanted to do, particularly if Danny is injured. And I'm hoping she didn't hurt herself on the edge of the table when she landed there. And then when she was flat on her stomach and Ash jumped on top of her, and you could see her head whiplash back as the table broke and went bang. And I'm hoping she's fine. Alright? I'm making this clear. If you want to chew out Ash of Elegance, don't. Things do happen when you're wrestling that you're not mindful of all the time. It can happen. And I don't believe she tried to hurt her purposely. So I think she's okay. Let's just hope she is. Next match. And it was Jody Threat who aided. And Jody Threat's family was there, which was nice. But then I almost forgot. Guys, you tell me below. What? How can I put this? When you look at Jody Threat, girl looks like she's got these. That she's not like small. She has somewhat pretty big boobs. But when she was wearing a minimizer bra, those boobs didn't exist. Now, I'm not saying she doesn't have any, and not saying she isn't a B or at least a C cup, but damn it, boy, that girl's boobs seemed to have just vanished. She was as flat as Danny Luna is, and obviously Danny's not a big-chested girl at all. She's maybe a B cup, or a little bit bigger than an A. But I didn't think Jody was the same, because she looks like she's got big boobs. But I just had to say that because, hey, I like boobs. But I had to wonder what happened. What type of minimizer was she wearing? That thing had to be really tight to be able to hold down a heavy chested if she was semi-heavy chested. I'm moving on. Sorry. Next match. The Cabinet, or as you know them as Order 4, versus Rascals, Indy Hartwell, and then we were going to get someone special. Someone that was supposed to replace an Ace Austin who was not medically cleared because supposedly his knee was really messed up, and because of the match we had and the attack the week before, so he was out and they had to replace him. I was wondering who they're going to get. Then I saw Raj Singh, Campaign Singh, who used to be known as Champagne Singh. And I'm like, okay, are they going to bring back... No, they wouldn't bring back Shiro, would they? He always keeps coming back all the time, and they really just typecast him. But no. Raj is from Bennington, Canada. Supposedly this is his hometown. His actual hometown. And he said, I believed in you. I worked to help you get everything done. No, actually, he said first, long time no see. You haven't returned any of my calls. You haven't haven't even responded to email or text. I gave you everything. I helped you last year to get where you were. And then you just turned your back on me, all with this. And I found out, realizing it, you're nothing but a bitch. In so many words. And then strikes him, and then we get the match. Now, at first, we got the men working with men, and then the women working with women. Indy working with a... Let me give it to you like this. Did I feel that Indy Hartwell did a good job with Tasha Steelz? It was a little sloppy. But let's make this very clear. We have not seen Tasha Steelz wrestle for quite a while. She's been part of the Cabinet, or as I call the Cabinet, which is the Order 4. She has not been wrestling for months, at least on Impact TV. She has not wrestled, very rarely. So I'm not saying she was rusty, but Indy hadn't been wrestling for a bit, and Tasha hadn't been wrestling for a bit, and you could tell between the two women, they look off. It wasn't that they didn't have any chemistry. It was that it looked like neither one of these women had been wrestling for a little bit. And not saying they were out of shape, but they just seemed to not be able to get the flow correctly. That's the deal. That was the truth. And you could see during the match it was a little sloppy. At least until they started working with the men, which tried to compensate for it. And I gotta say, it was good you saw them both working with the men. It did help the match quite a lot. Two things that was the most apparent. Indy, being almost as tall as the men, really helps when she's working with men and showing that she can keep up with them. Compared to Tasha, who's a much more smaller woman. And not saying Tasha can't get the work done, because I've seen her work with men. But I felt Indy did a better job with the men. Second thing was how vicious a Mustafa Ali was. Because what did we get? Mustafa Ali at one point, no, more than one point, was rough with everybody. Rough with Raj. He was rough with his own people. Hell, he shoved a Tasha to the ground, which she was very shocked that because he wanted to choke Raj with the covering for the ring skirt. And clearly, she's trying to stop him, so with the great hands, and he's shoving her back and saying, "Screw you, get away." And she didn't feel comfortable after that. She was shocked that he would do that. Also, with Indy Hartwell, Indy was outside, and he decided to do a drop kick as through the ropes to her. I think she managed to get her hand in front before the kick hit her head, because he kicked her very well to the head, and she went flying to the ground. I do believe she got her hand up in time to make sure the shock was in her hand, but still, the kinetic force drove her to the ground, and that looked a bit rough. But I think she's dealt with men before in the ring before she went to NXT, so it's not something she probably isn't used to. Admittedly, she hasn't done it in a while. So it was good to see that she did take a very substantial bump. But here's the thing. The way they're setting up, I don't know how far they're going to go with Mustafa Ali in this character. It's interesting to see that he literally is so broken because he got beaten by an addict how can I say this? Let me give it to you like this. Mike Santana and him are going to meet again. But I do believe there will be a title involved, either the international title or the world title or the X Division. One of the three, they're going to be going up against each other for it. And this will lead into it, showing how much he does not give two fucks about who he hurts to get what he wants now. Before he tried to become diplomatic and then use trickery to do it, now he's just using blunt force. Now, the match that sucked. I'm sorry. The match sucked. I have to say it. The match sucked. Ariana Grace versus Tessa Blanchard. Let me give it to you like this. The story of seeing Ariana Grace going against Tessa because of what happened with her and the contract signing, fine, that's all right. I still feel like it was rushed. Again, I still feel it was rushed. But it was all right. But when we got to see the match itself, and at one point, I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck's going on here? Because Tessa, the first real moves, she beats up on her. She gets onto the bottom ring rope, and she's going to try and use her elbow, but Ariana Grace does not move. I know she didn't move out of the way for the elbow. She literally went around her and elbowed the rope when Ariana didn't even move. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? And then you could see throughout most of the match, it was getting sloppier and sloppier, mostly due to Tessa. Now, mind you, I'm not saying Ariana didn't make some mistakes. She did. Let's make it very clear. Ariana is not a great wrestler yet. She's green. You could tell. She is green. But at least she can wrestle to a certain extent. This was not about her. This was about Tessa. And I'm like, what's going on here? Tessa, at one point, no, more than once, when she's supposed to be getting up on the ring ropes, slipped off not once, but twice. And that wasn't an accident. It wasn't a purpose slip off. It was accidental. What is going on here? Something is not right here. I'm telling you right now. Something was not right in that match. It's not because I hate Tessa. I told you for a while now, since she came back, I did not agree with the booking. If she's going to prove that she's the biggest badass there is, she's got to go through the main roster. She's got to go through all the women, heel and face. And everybody said, you can't do that. Yes, you fucking can, because she did that right before she became world champion due to Sami Callihan. She went through every woman on the damn roster back in the teens. Yes, she did. Before she became world champion, she went through everyone. Everyone. She went through Rosemary. She went through Jordan Grace. She went through Taya Valkyrie. She went through Alicia Edwards. She went through Havoc. She went through everyone they had on the damn roster. Tasha Steelz. She went through a Gazelle Shaw. She went through everyone they had on the damn roster to prove she was the baddest bitch there was. So don't tell me you can't use heels. That's bullshit. If you're going to say you're the best, no matter if you're heel in the face, you're going to go through everyone. And she didn't do that. Now we get this match. And it was like either she didn't care and she purposely was messing up because she didn't really think anything about it, or she was off for some reason. Something was not right with her. I'm telling you now, something wasn't right. I do not know what it was. I don't know if she didn't give two fucks because she didn't like to even work with Ariana, or she was off. Something was not right with her. That match did not look good at all. Yes, she won the match. And Santino was pissed as hell, particularly that he was not allowed to be with Ariana. He was barred from ringside because of Sheriff Steel. Not Stone, not Steel. But Stone. You know what I mean. I'm just like, when you see this, you see him grabbed, and then you find out later, because security grabs him and forces him out because Mr. Stone wanted him gone immediately with his damn daughter in the back. He wanted to get revenge because Stone was poking at him. He said, I want to have a match with him. But then Ariana said, no. I want a match with you versus them, Tessa and Mr. Stone. And you see Tom all excited because, hell, Tom was saying this would be great. Daughter and father together, which actually is actually pretty cool. I wouldn't mind seeing that myself. But the point here is they set that up. But what was that? Moving on. Next match. And that was for the Knockouts title. Victoria Crawford versus a Marsha Slamovich. Now, compared to the other match, this one wasn't too bad. And I want to make this clear. Very clear. Because I know people would say Alicia Fox can't fucking wrestle. She can wrestle. Let's make it very clear. I've seen Alicia for years when she was Alicia Fox. Victoria can wrestle. You may not like her. You may think that she's just a skinny little woman that can't do a damn thing. But I watched her for more than a few years since she went into WWE when she was 18 years old. She spent 20 years in the damn business. She can wrestle. Is she a great wrestler? No. She is an average wrestler right here that sometimes can rise above what she normally does. She's not a main eventer. That is the one thing I want to make very clear. She is not a main event wrestler. She's been given main event spots. She's done the main event spots. So she does understand them. But is she that great of a wrestler? She's not. She's always been damn looking. Damn good looking. Yes. She don't got this and she don't got that. But she got this. And yeah, she was a bit of a stick. But it don't matter. She still looked good. That's what many people thought of her. But if you look at the body of work she did, the majority of the time, it was average work, which is fine. Some of the best wrestlers can only do average work, and they've been remembered. Look at Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, okay? The Bushwhackers, they didn't do something amazing. They didn't. Coco Beware, yes, he was a high flyer, but he wasn't someone special. It was his character that got him over. It wasn't his ring work. So when it came to Victoria Crawford, it was her looks, yeah. There's no way you can deny she's a fucking good-looking woman. She was smoking hot when she was younger. And she's still not bad at her age right now. I think she's 38 or 40. But the point is now, she did a decent job. The match was fine. But what made not a lot of sense was when the match was over, yeah, they used the title. They're trying to do everything they can to sell that Crawford was given this opportunity because of Stone. They were cheating. When it was over, Marsha said she came here for competition. She became champion. She wanted the best competition. And I thought, okay, they're trying to set up for the next Impact Plus show. And I think it's against all odds. And they're trying to set it up. Fine. But she asked for Ling Yang Lee. And I'm like, okay. She calls out Ling Yang Lee, who comes out curvy as fuck. Now that's a curvy woman. That is a curvy ass woman. Her legs are as muscled out as her arms. She got muscled out legs. Think about Ace Austin. And think then Ling Yang Lee, who's got the same thing but in her legs. Is just like he does. Whew. But when you see Mr. Stone say, you got to earn your opportunity next week, you're going to have a match to earn it. And I'm like, okay. Wouldn't it have been good to add something extra? To give us something extra? Because it feels like something is missing. Honestly, in this story where Mr. Stone is Sheriff Stone, it feels like there's something missing in the equation. And it's not because of Victoria Crawford being there, okay? It's not her. It seems like they need something extra. Maybe security, like muscle. That's what I think he's needing, because he doesn't have any muscle other than Victoria. And I feel like he needs a man there as well to be muscle for the men's division. That's what I'm thinking. Next. Let's see here. The final two matches. Matt Hardy and... Let me give it to you like this. When the Nemesis went up against Leon Slater, I really like Leon. I'm not a big high-flying wrestling fan. I'm not. I mean, I like it, but I'm not like totally crazy about it all the time. But Leon has personality. He's got more personality than Will Ospreay does. Let's make it very clear. They're both from the UK. Leon is younger than Will, and he just gives off more personality than Will does. Doesn't mean Will doesn't have any personality, because he does, but this is Will, this is Leon. He just gives off more charisma and personality than Will does. You can feel it with him. Now, who's got the more skill and more experience? This is Leon, this is Will. But when it comes to charisma and character and personality, this is Leon, this is Will. So that's for me personally. You guys can tell me below. So working with Matt while they're in Canada, due to the fact that, let's make it very clear, Jeff just can't leave the country anymore because of the DWIs that he's done. He's done. He can never leave the country again. Never. He's not allowed. He can't have a passport. He can never leave the country again. As far as I know, he's done permanently. Unless he's got to wait several years before his probation is over, I think. But as far as I know, he can never leave the country ever again. But when you see this, and at least in this situation, they admitted that Jeff Hardy just cannot leave the country. They just didn't admit about him having so many DWIs. So they at least admitted that he just can't leave the country. And I'm glad they at least admitted it, instead of trying to keep getting him beat up and stuff, which was a waste of time. At least admit it. Seeing this match, I liked it. I liked the match because it isn't just that Leon is getting this moment working with Matt, and it could really help him. I think the segment that he had in the recording for Impact was actually pretty good. But it's seeing Ryan and Nick together is the thing that I'm actually fond of. You know why? For years, these guys have worked in the wrestling industry. One in the Indies, one in WWE. They have never managed to work together. Both of them went through wrestling as collegiate wrestlers. Both of them did it. Both of them became wrestlers. But they never had the opportunity to work together. And I know I've said this before, but seeing another brother tag team and seeing them finally together for this last year or so, actually working together as a tag team, I'm actually liking. I'm not liking the character because they need more development, but I am liking seeing them together because they do feel legitimate as a tag team. In the end, of course, you know who won. It was a nemesis. They had to cheat to win, which is fine. I'm just like, what are they going to do with them next? They really need more tag teams. I'm hoping to bring in more tag teams to actually job for them. Or, you give them a run for the money for a couple of months. That's the way I feel. Final match. Joe Henry and Elijah versus Kaz and Trick. Let me give it to you like this. Did they really need to do this match? I'm going to be honest here. I understand why they did it. I do understand why they did this. They had to do this. But the key about this situation was they wanted to promote what's going to happen in Battleground on Sunday. Now, I want to say this right now. I will not be reviewing it Sunday. I will not be reviewing Battleground Sunday. I will be reviewing Double or Nothing. And then Monday, I'll watch it, and I will review it Monday. So you have to watch it the next day. But did they need this? For the build, helping in the Battleground? Yes, because they want to have the same people that are in TNA who are fans there watch NXT for Battleground, or vice versa. That's the reason why they did the crossover. That's why they did this. Was it a good match? You had one team who could not trust each other for no damn reason. That was Kaz, and that was Tricky. You weren't going to have them working together. Both of them were trying to one-up each other. And I'm kind of hoping that when this is over, you're going to see Frankie Kazarian having a feud with Trick Williams. I'm kind of hoping that Frankie will have a feud with Trick. Yes, you're going to say, dude, they're both heels. I know, but I don't care. One, it will give Trick Williams more time on TNA TV, which he needs. He needs to grow as somebody who's in front of a camera from different promotions. It'll help him. Two, this will give Frankie Kazarian some time on NXT because he's never had it. I want to see Frankie Kazarian on NXT. So he deserves to step foot into NXT, not in a damn battle royal. So I want to see them actually have a feud, which I don't believe they will, but that's what I'm kind of hoping. But the match was fine. In the end, of course, you know Joe was going to get Kaz. It was not going to be Joe pinning a Trick Williams. It's not going to happen. And you're not going to see Elijah get pinned by a Trick Williams. You got to do something with the champ because you want to make it a question, will the champ actually beat Trick? Or will Trick beat the champ? I know you're going to say, dude, they just telegraphed it. No, they haven't. They haven't telegraphed it. It's traditional that the champion, if they're going to win that match, is going to pin the other guy. That happens. So I'm not going to tell you this is bad. It's fine. But like I said, in my Impact review, things still felt very rushed and forced. And when you see this show, things happened that I do not agree with. I am telling you right now, I do not agree with them. What happened with Danny Luna, that was bad. What happened with Tessa, it made no damn sense. But this is just me. I hope you enjoyed this Under Siege review. Please give me a comment below. And I should be doing Saturday night's main event. You should be seeing it tomorrow. There shouldn't be a problem, hopefully. Peace.